We gotta start that over. My anointing oil on. So let's get it. Okay. What's up, everyone? Have to get my little note, y'all, because today the case that I am solving today, we're doing the story of this little girl, y'all. Innocent baby, toddler. This young child, baby, toddler. Y'all, this really really touched my heart when I first heard this story of the little girl. Her name is Javeayah Harris. The 4-year-old little girl. She was 4 years old. This little girl, her parents ended her life at 4 years old. The story of this little girl is so sad. The information that God and my spirit team gave me pertaining to this little girl, to little Javeayah Harris, the things that God revealed to me is just, y'all, it's so sad. It's like so sad. And then as I listen to the story and hear the parts of what the news is saying, so I wanted to do the story on her to find out what really happened. What happened to 4-year-old Javeayah Harris? So what the news were saying that she was abused. And God did reveal that to me, that she was abused. First, what I'm going to do is I am going to read the information that God spoke to me about this little girl. Because there was things that I asked God. I said, God, I want you to tell me what happened to this little girl. And to be honest, everything that God basically told me, I was writing it down as he was speaking it to me. And so as I wrote it down, basically everything that I have, I put cards for the images. But God had already actually too showed me a glimpse, like a vision, a glimpse of what happened to this little girl. But the cards it clarifies more too of what God mentioned to me and what the news was saying. So I'm gonna get started. Okay, so Javeayah Harris is a 4-year-old toddler. She lived in the city called Aiken County in South Carolina. Her mother reported that like she was missing, that she didn't know where this little girl was at. She called the 911 and said she don't know where her daughter is at. She was outside playing, and she was playing with the chicken coop, all this stuff. The story does not make sense at all of what the mother was saying what happened with the little girl. And she said, oh, I was having I had her bath water ready, and I was getting dinner ready. It's just like the whole story just didn't make sense. And so they said that the mother, I think she had gave birth. She was giving birth to a baby, another child. And I guess after she gave birth, or it's either before she gave birth to the child, to the second child, she called to say now, waited a month later to say the little girl is missing. She don't know where she at. You know, she tried to make it look like the little girl just disappeared or something. But come to find out, that is not the case at all. So she's going to be charged for she made a false report. So, you know, God had revealed to me that they wasn't going to get away with it. The mother and the father, the parents, both are involved in this. And God has said that the truth was going to come out. The truth was going to be revealed. The truth was going to come out. You know, the sad part about this is that they say she filed this false police report. But then when she confessed, it comes to find out when they found the baby's remains, she used corrosive chemicals, and they said other tools to decelerate this child's body. Not only that she did this, see, if I was in jury, this would be my question. Because it was something too another thing I seen on the news where they said that the baby body, they did something to dissolve the baby body, which is dismemberment. They ain't even find all the body parts of this little girl. They saying that they only found a few. This is so sad. So what God had revealed to me, when I first heard this story on the news, when I asked God what happened, the first exact thing that God spoke to me, he said was, it was a freak accident. And you know, a freak accident is like when it's something that happened, something bad that happened so fast, and it's like, it's unintentionally, like you didn't mean for it to happen, but it's like it happened so fast to the point that you can't stop it. You can't control it. Y'all, when God mentioned to me the freak accident, what actually God was telling me is it was a freak accident. They cleaned up where they unalived this child at. They cleaned it up where it took place. It took place in home. God showed me that where it took place, it was corruption going on in that home. It took place in the living room. There was a fight and an argument between his mother and father. They was at it or something. You know, God shows me that they're going to be they're guilty, and they're going to be locked up, incarcerated for what they done. Also, there is evidence, which evidence is them finding some of her remains. And I believe there's other evidence too, but you know, they're not going to talk about it yet until everything is all done. Then God mentioned to me 25 to life. So when I watched the story on the news said that she can get 22 to life. And the judge denied her bond. Now God told me it was some fights going on, fighting altercations between his mother and father. Then God mentioned to me backyard and trees. Where they found her remains at was somewhere like where some trees and stuff was at. And God even mentioned something to me about a girl, something about a garage. Then he mentioned sedan. So the mother or the father, one of them must drive a sedan. And somebody is like in a height of 5 feet. In that height range. It can be 5'1", 5'2", but God just mentioned 5 feet. The little girl is she's getting her justice because her case is being solved. And the truth is coming out. You know, as God right here revealed to me like that they're getting caught. They're getting caught. They're getting caught. They're not getting away with nothing that they did to this little girl. And another thing, you know, God had mentioned another thing pertaining to this little girl, y'all, is that this little girl is that they were throwing objects. So whatever these parents, it's like these parents, they were throwing objects, y'all. Throwing objects. When I see this throwing objects, and when I looked up about the freak accident, it said electrocuted. So then God shows me there was something with fire, which caused her death. Then God revealed to me right here, y'all, is with this fire and this homicide, it's like it was a disaster. Like it blew up so fast. Like it blew up in her in the face. It blew up so fast. Then God showed me like something with power, which when you put that together, that's executed. This little girl got executed. I'm gonna tell you what I feel. She got executed in a bathtub. And why I say bathtub, because the mama was saying on the news, oh, my daughter, I was finna get her in a bathtub, put her in a bathtub, and have her dinner. You know, I had her dinner ready. When she said bathtub, and when this information that God had revealed to me, I said, bathtub, fire turns into a homicide. a disaster was to something blow up real fast, which that right there is connecting with the freak accident. And then power, electrocution, throwing objects. When God mentioned all of this, I'm like, okay. They were even throwing something. The little girl was in this tub and they were throwing something because on the news they said she was abused and they had mentioned injured. So when they mentioned injured, I'm like, that's the throwing object. They threw something. I feel like this little girl was in a tub. And they threw something in that tub. And that little girl got electrocuted. And I feel like it happened so fast that they both panicked. You know, they both panicked. They didn't know what to do because what God is revealing to me right here, another thing, more information that God is revealing is he definitely clarified that this little girl was abused. Definitely mentioned to me abuse. He had me write down location. Come to find out, when it comes to this location, they say the mother, after what she did to this little girl in the house, she drove her, took her to a location to where they dismembered this little girl's body, when they decelerated her body. And then God shows me a female woman involved, which is the mother. Then God mentions that this was corrupt. Something was corrupt that happened and took place in that living room. That's why they probably saying abuse. She was abusing that baby in the house. Something happened in that living room. And she unalived this child. And it also shows me that there was some money where someone was trying to get some money for her death, for her passing. So this looks like a sacrifice. Then there's more information that God reveals to me where they were like depressed about this, like, you know, like, oh man, I messed up, you know, having their head down and barred up in a corner somewhere, like, man, I messed up. Like, they know they messed up, they did something. God shows me something again with this fire. And then God allowed me to hear this little girl voice. I'm telling y'all, I heard this little girl voice. Her spirit must have showed up as I'm doing her message. And this is what I heard. Mommy, stop. Mommy, stop. I don't know if that's how the little girl talked, or she was telling her mommy to stop. That is what God allowed me to hear. And so right here, y'all, another thing is what God revealed is that he basically let me know, like, you already seeing what happened. And it was a feeling too. It's a feeling that I was getting, that God was allowing me to feel. And another thing, this little girl, this little girl loved her parents, man. She loved her parents. She loved them. And it's like she loved her parents, you know. She had like a lot of, some good times with them. And it's just like, dang, this one day turns into a nightmare. This one day turns into a nightmare. They said that they can cook. I don't trust it. These parents, you know what God showed me too? Is the parents tried to hide it. Which, when you hear the story, that is exactly what they did. They did hide it. Because the little girl, neighbors and stuff were saying that this little girl has been missing. They haven't seen this little girl for over a month. So when the parents finally confessed, and said that this little girl, with the incident, what happened to her, what they did, this freak accident that happened, it happened somewhere between the time of May the 1st to June the 15th, where this took place at the home where the little girl was living with both of her parents. These parents tried to get away and tell lies, which they did, because the mother made that false report. She called that 911 and made the false report and told lies. Now, they say they couldn't find all of the remains of the little girl's body, because I feel like if it's everybody just not finding out a month later about it. Neighbors saying this, they haven't seen this little girl in over a month. So, with all that time, what God reveals to me right here is, somewhere where they dump the garbage and stuff or whatever, that's what some of that, I believe that's what some of that evidence is at, in the dumpster. And sad to say, that could even be where they could have, where the rest of her body could be at. Because it's showing me like where it's scattered. Stuff is scattered in pieces. Like it's scattered around. Something here, something here, something here, something here, something here. Then God reveals to me that when they did this to this little girl, like this, they did this. This little girl was wide awoke. Let alone her being wide awoke. It's like this shouldn't have happened. The timing of this shouldn't have happened to this little girl, man. But God shows me right here that there was a sacrifice, like that they sacrificed this little girl, and they did some type of ritual. They performed some type of ritual or magic that they were doing over this little girl. I feel like that's why the little girl was saying, why God allowed me to hear her say, "Mommy, stop." Then, another thing that God shows me is that, like, this environment where she was with her parents, it was dangerous. Like, it wasn't good for her. It wasn't good. Like, with whatever they did with this ritual or magic that they were doing on this little girl, it was not good, y'all. And it also shows right here that, you know, the whistleblower is like the truth, everything coming out, everything is being exposed on what happened. The whole report, everything is coming out. Now there's some information, some communication that's going to come out about the mother knew, father knew, they were having some type of like problem, money problem, finance problems and stuff. Money problems. There's going to be some type of information, communication, or it's even some information in their phones pertaining to, it's some information in their phones that's going to be coming out. Now, another thing that God reveals to me too right here is something was dark. Something was dark going on at this home. Like this home was, something was dark. I feel like there was something was dark going on at this house, at this home with this child. She probably was being abused. Clearly, she definitely was being abused. God clearly mentioned abuse. She was being abused. Now, this part where God shows right here that there was some type of performance, like some clown play performance type stuff they were doing. So this, when you think about that, it adds up to the rituals, the magic. I'm hoping they wasn't laughing, because I'm clearly saying like it was a performance and they thought this was funny or something. Now, it also were something too where they were, violence took place. Which, when it's violence, that is abuse. That's abuse. And there's something that was going on pertaining, it's something that too was going on in this situation with them pertaining to money. And these parents did this together. They did this together. And another thing, I feel like these parents made a deal. They made a deal with that enemy known as the devil. They made a deal with this devil. And now they feel bad about it. They feel bad about what they did about making this deal with that devil. And then another thing what God was revealing to me too and showing me is something about, they thought they was finna get away, like go travel, and was, you know, they thought they was finna travel and then they was gonna receive some money. This is what they was thinking in their mind, that they was gonna travel, then they was gonna receive some money, and then, but what happened was, they did not receive no money. They ended up in prison. They ended up in jail. So when I see this, with God showing this being revealed, this is saying that, so they thought they was going to get away with what they did. And they probably had an insurance policy on this child. And so they thought they was going to probably receive some money from the insurance policy on this child, go travel, get away, probably move to another state or country somewhere. That's what I feel like that's what they was going to do. And, you know, but what they was thinking in their mind did not go as planned. They end up being in jail. for what they did to this innocent child. A baby. This baby was only 4 years old. 4 years old? My biggest question is, I asked God this too. I asked God, did the father know what was going on? Yeah, the father was there. He knew what was going on. He knew. I asked God, which one was who abused the child? Did the mother? Her mother. The mother is the one that did this unalive with this child. But the father was there. Father was involved. Both of the parents are both held accountable for what happened to this child, to this baby. 4 years old, that's a toddler. What is wrong with the world today? I'm just, what really blows me with this, y'all, is what will make you to want to dissolve this child's body? So they really thought that they was going to be able to get away with this? I'm trying to understand what was going through their mind. Well, I know what it was going through their mind. That devil was attacking their mind. This is why people today pray. Because when you pray, and you have a prayerful heart, y'all, that devil is not gonna be like, if you don't pray, if you have an unprayerful heart, it's gonna be so easy for the devil to use you. But if you pray and you have a prayerful heart that you praying, the devil can't use you. But when you don't got that prayerful heart, the devil would jump in and out of bodies. And that devil will play in your mind as well and get in your mind and have you do these things what these parents did to this baby. Which this is like so sad. I hope y'all can still hear. Like, this is like so sad of what happened to this baby, y'all. This is so sad of what happened to this child. So,
this is a lot of water, so I have to figure out how to get this.
You know, I just want to say, like, that baby, that innocent baby did not deserve that. Like, it's like, what was the mama and the father thinking? Like, I mean, them cleaning it up, that just made it even more guilty and hiding what they did.
I think this is still a lot of water.
But the thing that is really getting to me is dismembering this little girl's body. They use chemicals to dissolve her, y'all. That is what they were saying on the news.
So I'm just putting it on here. If I was at home, I would probably still do the same thing.
People today got to get it together. People today got to get it together. Excuse the noise in the background, but people today got to get it together. They really got to get it together because it's like that just didn't make no sense at all of what happened
I don't think this video is
to this
nowhere near an hour.
innocent child.
Like 20, 30 minutes.
This baby was 4 years old. That is the part that is really, really just. Why would you do this to your child? Why would you do this to a child? A baby. What was they thinking?
That's how you gotta do. You gotta be like that. Like, take yourself apart. I got him some dessert. Come on.
And according to the news, the mother, the father, they say the father was working at DHL, and they say the mother was working at, I think, someplace called someplace she was working at. To me, it sounds like it could be a gas and light company, I don't know, or either some type of telecommunication company, cable company. That the name, when I hear that name, that's what it sounds like to me. Like in they city or state, or they city and state where they at. Like this could have been a light company she was, gas or light company she was working for, or an internet or cable company. That's what the name sounds like to me. But
10-15 minutes. How y'all doing?
why would you do this to your child? I mean, it's like, well, God said it was a freak accident. Like it happened so fast. It happened so fast and it blew up. I feel like this child was executed in that bathtub. That is what I feel, that she was in the bathtub. They threw something. They was throwing something. Either these parents was at it, fighting, arguing something. They throwing something at each other, and it hit that. Something went in that tub, or either it hit that child, and then it went in the tub, and she got executed in the tub. I feel like that is why they tried to cover it up, and why the mama moved her, took her out the house, and took this girl to another location somewhere to dismember her body. You know they are getting life. I know they are getting life. Because there's so many, they got so many charges on them for this, what they did to this little girl. And just like what they were saying on the news,
I swear to God.
You know, news reporting, people were saying, like, these people are not considered to be called parents.
I'm not lying. I was looking at
for what they did to this innocent little girl. This baby ain't even get a chance to live her life. Do y'all hear me? She was 4 years old. 4. This baby did not get a chance to enjoy her life, y'all.
Just one particular person said, I need some gloves. It's not the Nikki girl.
Man, you want to talk about sad?
They asked for gloves.
This is so sad what happened to this little girl. This is so sad what these parents did to this baby. It's just like, how could you do that to a child? The thing what really gets them more in trouble is them covering it up, cleaning up evidence, and dismembering this baby, dissolving her body, as they said on the news, decelerated her. The world of people today got to get it together. Innocent baby, life is gone. And this innocent child, y'all, this baby did not deserve, she didn't deserve that. This baby did not deserve what her parents did to her. And so they said, you know, the mother, she had another baby. The mother had another baby. And so, you know, she in jail. And she ain't getting out. So the other baby, the little baby that she just had, they said the family is taking care of that baby. I feel like parents that do things like that to a child don't deserve to have they don't deserve to have no babies. When you are taking your child out like that, it's so wrong. And this is another thing. This is why it is not good for parents. It's not good for parents to fight or argue in front of your child, in front of children. Because these type of situations of what just happened to this innocent child, this is what these type of things can escalate to. When you are fighting and arguing in front of the child. When you are fighting and arguing in front of a child, these are the type of things that can happen. It's not good. This is why it's not good to fight and argue in front of children. Because in this case, in this situation, this child got hurt and lost her life in the midst of these parents. In the midst of these parents arguing or fighting, whatever took place. But there is clearly, God definitely clarified that this child there was abuse going on in his home. It's clearly showing that corrupt was going on and abuse in the home. But God shows that the abuse was this woman, female involved woman, which is the mother. This mother. It's sad that whatever they were doing in that house, that this child had, it's sad that the child had to lose her life. And these parents were young. And it's more sad that, it is sad too, that these parents, these adults, but they were young in the age, now is gonna have to spend the rest of their life in prison. All because of them arguing and fighting in front of this child. And now it caused an accident, a bad accident, something that they cannot take back. But this probably would have been avoided and probably wouldn't have never happened if they probably was not arguing in front of this child. And I believe in God. With God telling me they was throwing objects, throwing things at each other. Throwing things at each other, and probably was throwing hands too. But this child get hurt, lose her life in the midst of them. It's sad. And you know, when I seen the face of the mother on the news and the face of the father on the news, and then when they played the recording of the mother and the recording of the father, when I first heard the father, I said, his story ain't sounding right. It ain't sounding right. If I was sitting in the jury, I was on the jury, team, and I would say like, the story not sounding right. What the mother is saying ain't even sounding right. And then when they said, when they went and looked where there's no chicken coop or nothing like that over there, so she just really sat and told bold-faced lie. Come on now. What is really going on? This mother sat here and told a bold-faced lie. Literally. Y'all, literally told a bold-faced lie. I'm all done with this. Like, you know, if I was the judge, and I already know what the whoever the judge is that's on this case gonna say. Guilty. Guilty. God even shows it. When I asked God what happened, and he had me writing it down. Guilty. God specifically said they guilty and locked up. They're getting locked up. It's just, but there's something about a garage. So when they said they can't find the rest of her body parts, there's something that God had mentioned to me about. He had me write down about a garage, where something with this garage. So when they go with this location, the garage, and they said she took the little girl from the house and took her to another location. Someone, the detectives or whatever is on this case. Something y'all need to check a garage. Something that Spirit God is revealing to me in his message about this little girl, the story, the case of her. Check that garage. Check something about a garage. Check and see in the area where y'all found her remains or something. Is there some type of garage somewhere? Then something else was mentioned with a grandfather. I don't know why that showed up, but it was something else with the grandfather. So, that might be some more. That's like some more information that God was revealing. See, the news didn't mention that part. It's some things, see, the news, they like, from what they're saying is they don't know what happened to this little girl because they dismembered her. But what God revealed to me is showing me a fire and something blowing up real fast in power. When you see something with power and fire and something just bloosh, that's electrocution. Electrocuted. That little girl got electrocuted. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's something in my mind keep talking about this tub. Cause when the mama made the call, the 911 call, she mentioned, "Oh, my daughter, my baby, I'm about to put her in the tub, and I was in dinner ready, and I had her bath water ready to put her in the tub." It seems like she already, see, I can read through things, you know. It seems like I read through words, messages, all that, you know. It seems like when she said that tub, I feel like that's where everything happened. Oh, and another thing, God did mention a living room and a bathroom. So something happened from the living room to the bathroom. And when you think about bathroom, bathtub, fire, explosion, power, electrocution. I feel like the child was electrocuted. She was in that tub. That's why God said they was throwing objects, throwing things. Something was being thrown. Something went in that tub. And that baby was electrocuted. That's why it starts to make sense when you think about it, because why would they hurry up and get her out the house? Because what God showed me too, and it said this too on the news, that it took place in a home. And when I seen that, what God revealed to me, I'm like, God showed me that this took place in a home. So and then when I heard that part of, because see, God just mentioned, he just said straight location to me. So when I heard location, and then when I heard the story on the news, and they said, yeah, she took her to another location, I said, that's why God said location, and showed the mother involved. How can you do this to a baby? How? Just how? How can you do this to an innocent child? I mean, it's just, how can you do this? Period. And God showed me right here too that he told me that the truth was gonna come out. Like the truth was going to come out. See, I told God, I said, God, I just want to hear from you. What happened to this child? I wanted God to tell me first, and so I can write down information that God revealed to me and tell me. And then I wanted to use my oracle cards to get the images, even though God had already showed me the glimpse of them like fighting or arguing, that taking place. And something with this bathtub, something with them arguing the bathtub, and they was throwing stuff, and this child got hurt and lost her life in the midst of them, amidst of these parents. That's why when you see them on the news and you see their face, they both look guilty to me. When I looked at the mother, I'm like, she looked like she did something. She looked like she knows she did something, and she knows she messed up real bad. Like she know she messed up. She knows she ain't getting out. Like, even when you see the father, he even have a guilty look on his face. Like, they both had this look on their face like, dang, we messed up. And they both had this look on their face. The first time they showed them on the news, I already seen it. I said they look guilty. They both look guilty. You can just see it in their face. Just look, watch the video, watch the news, watch the video. Just look and see. You can see it in the face that they look guilty. It's clearly in the face. You can see but you can also see what I see is too, that the mother, you can tell she been worrying about it. You can tell that it's like depressed, stressed out about it, like it's tearing them up. It's tearing her up, eating her up. You can see it in her face expression, even in the father's face expression. He has this guilty look, like, damn. Like, they have both had this look like, we messed up. And it's like, we can't rewind that day back. We can't take it back. We can't take back what we did, what had happened to this child. It's like they both had this look like, we really messed up. So if they was abusing this child, if this child was being abused and something, but God showed me abuse, so this child was being abused in his home. But it's like this time, whatever they did what they did this time, they maybe other times things was happening and, you know, they were getting away with it. But it's like this time, I'm a little bit feeling like this time God had to step in. And it's really sad to say, but I feel like God wanted to take this little girl from these parents, because they wasn't treating her right. They wasn't doing right. Now, with the news mentioning abuse and injuries, I'm wondering, was there any cases? But another part, the city in the town that she was in is a small little town, from what they say. It's a small town. And it's like the city that she was in, the small town, they say the neighbors in that neighborhood was like real quiet. This is what they saying, the neighbors are quiet. And it's like they said they don't talk to each other. Like, they, you know, everybody just do them. They don't really, you know, really speak to each other. Because they said when they went questioning the neighbors, you know, was like quiet. You know, they don't know too much about them. You know, it wasn't like they friendly, like they buddy. You know, so, but the only thing the neighbors was saying is that they haven't seen the child in the neighbors said they haven't seen the child in over months. But when they confessed and basically saying what their confession is that something happened with this child. This child was unalive over a month before the mother made this false report on she don't know what happened to her child. All of a sudden, the little girl outside playing, and they don't know what happened with where she at. She was outside playing outside on the chicken coop, and they said ain't no chicken coop or nothing over there. And where the area where they stayed at, they lived in it looked like, well, you know, different cities and states, houses is made different. But it was a small house, like one level. To me, it looks like a trailer. But I don't know if that's what they call that in that city and state. Because, you know, some city and states, their houses is made totally different in different states and in different cities. The style and the design of the houses is like totally different. But to me, it looks like what you would call a trailer. That's what it looks like. But it could just be in a city, in that town. It could be a house, called a house, or a small house, or it could be another name for it, you know. Who knows? But I'm just still like, y'all, outdone with. It's really just really like, what's really getting me with this is 4 years old. Let alone 4 years old, you gonna unalive your child? When a mistake happened, I feel like instead of them covering it, what gets them more in trouble is covering it up. When this accident happened, they should have just called 911 right away. And, you know, and I feel like if they would have called right away, they probably wouldn't, it wouldn't be as worse as it's finna be for them. Because the way I see it, they not getting out. The way